One of the big stories in Washington is certainly reverberating across the country and here in Arkansas with conservative groups, Republicans and Democrats. Friday, we had the IRS acknowledged that during 2011, leading up to the 2012 presidential race, they have acknowledged that they specifically targeted conservative groups, Tea Party groups, any organizations that had Tea Party or Patriots in the title for an audit. And the president has said if this is true, after they've acknowledged it, he will not tolerate it. It's uncalled for. Republicans and Democrats have called for a full investigation. And one target of this IRS probe was the Tea Party Patriots. I'm joined on the phone right now with Jenny Beth Martin. She's the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. Jenny Beth, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for talking to me, Alice.
I appreciate it. I know you are swamped with things going on, but I appreciate you taking time. And the Tea Party Patriots certainly have been very outspoken on a lot of things that the president has done, specifically Obamacare, big spending, big government. And in 2001, your organization, your 501c3 and C4, received special attention by the IRS. Tell us what happened.
Well, we applied back in 2010 for the status for both of those, and then we received a few questions in 2011, or a little bit of correspondence in 2011, but for the most part, not very much. In 2012, we got about a 6 to 8 page letter from the IRS for both organizations, asking questions like, what have you written on your Facebook page, and all of the comments on it, and submit those to us in hard copy, not email or a link to all of the communication we had with any media reports about us at all, where we were ever mentioned in the media. They wanted to know what was said about us. All of our donors, which there's a certain point where you have to disclose donors who give, I think, over $5,000, but anyone who gives less than that is allowed legally to remain confidential. Some of the questions they were asking, they weren't even legally supposed to ask or allowed to have that information.
Well, I think that's the key. These groups, the 501c3 and C4, part of the status is that you're not required to disclose donors. Yet the IRS was asking for a tremendous wealth of information, and that goes against what the role of 501c3 and C4s are about.
Exactly, and there are certain rules that are set up for a 501c4 and a 501c3 in the first place. When you're collecting money, the IRS wants to know how you spend it, and they have certain categories that an organization or a business falls into based on what they do. Our activities fall into a 501c4 activity. It means we can encourage our people, our supporters, to their congressmen and senators. They can take action with their congressmen and senators, especially about issues like Obamacare, the debt, the overspending, the deficit. And these are all issues that we've cared about and we've focused on. And then on our 501c3, we want to teach people about the Constitution and the founding principles. And we learned over the weekend that they specifically were looking for groups that said they wanted to educate on the Constitution. I can't even believe that educating on the Constitution would raise a red flag with the IRS.
Exactly. My guest is Jenny Beth Martin. She's a co-founder of Tea Party Patriots. And we are talking about the additional scrutiny that conservative groups, and specifically in this case Tea Party groups, were given in 2011 from the IRS. And I'm sure you remember, Jenny Beth, Douglas Shulman, who is an IRS commissioner, he told congressional investigators in March of 2011 that groups such as yours were not being targeted. What's come to light? Obviously, we know that you were. And how have things been dealt with since this revelation on Friday when the IRS acknowledged that they did target you? What kind of conversations have been had?
Since Friday, what kind of conversations? Well, with the IRS, they're not returning our attorney's phone calls at the moment. It's all crickets from the IRS right now. But what we're seeing that they reported in the news, Lois Lerner on Friday said that indeed the IRS did know about this and they were targeting groups with Tea Party and Patriots in them. But the Commissioner Douglas, he spoke last year in 2012 and said that was absolutely not happening. And then Steve Miller, who's now the acting commissioner after Douglas's term ended, he also said that groups were not being targeted. He was specifically asked about what was happening with the Tea Party groups, and he never indicated in any way that they were being targeted. Yet we've learned since the Inspector General report came out that Steve Miller was aware of this in at least early 2012. So when he spoke to Congress, he already was aware of it and did not mention anything about what he was aware of.
Right. My guest is Jenny Beth Martin with the Tea Party Patriots. And let me ask you this, Jenny Beth, take out the fact that the president is a Democrat and take out the fact you're with a conservative group. Let's just say hypothetically George Bush were president. There are tremendous concerns from people on both sides of the aisle that we have the IRS, which is supposed to be a non-political arm of our government, seeking out any specific group, intimidating them and their donors. As you said, this will affect, if it hasn't already, your donations. What kind of signal does that send to any organization if they're going to be threatened with an audit if they go against whatever the administration wants?
This is chilling, and it's scary, and this is the kind of thing that you expect to hear in third world countries and dictatorships and tyrannies. The people in power in the government will use government agencies to intimidate citizens and make them afraid to speak out and to act. And that you do not expect to see that happen in the United States of America. We're supposed to be free, and the government is supposed to be accountable to us. We're not supposed to be accountable to the government in this way. Unfortunately, that's not how it's happening right now in our country. The IRS has acted. They've completely abused their power, and we have to hold them accountable. This cannot happen it can't happen to Tea Party groups. It can't happen to Move On. It can't happen to Organizing for America. This is wrong, no matter who it's happening to. And we have to make sure those who did this are held accountable so it never happens to another group again.
And Jenny Beth, as you said, since this came out on a Friday in the famous Friday news dump, that the IRS acknowledged that they targeted groups such as yours, you're not getting any response from the IRS. Crickets, as you say, in terms of return phone calls to your attorneys. Clearly, this has cost your organization loads of money and time. What do you hope to happen moving forward on this?
Well, we want to see Congress fully investigate what happened with the IRS, and we want the people who were involved in this from the lowest level all the way up the chain to be terminated and to be disciplined according to the atrocious abuse of power that they have shown. We want to make sure that there are steps in place this never happens to another group again, ever. And then we're having our attorneys and our accountants quantify the damages to Tea Party Patriots so that we can seek, so our organization can get justice for what has been done to us. We have to right the wrong that was done to us and to the other Tea Party and Patriot and 912 groups around the country.
And Jenny Beth, one last question before you go. Your donors, the people that have contributed to your organization, what are you hearing from them? Are they going to be more cautious and reserved about their contributions, or what kind of response are you getting from those who have contributed?
No, from the donors, what we're hearing most of all is just keep it up, we're behind you, and we support you. Our organization, we have over 400,000 donors. The vast, by and large, number of our donors, 95% of our donors have given less than $5,000, less than $1,000. Our average donation size is around $50. So they are very supportive of us, and it's very concerning that this is the way that the government is treating hardworking Americans who want their government to be accountable and to be fiscally responsible with the money that it spends from us, the taxpayers.
Right. When you have consensus from both sides of the aisle that this is something that needs to be investigated, it certainly needs to be investigated. Jenny Beth Martin, Tea Party Patriots co-founder. Jenny, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Same to you. Have a great day. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll have more after this on The Alice Stewart Show.